We often believe that time heals all wounds, that the pain of the past will fade, and that if you just keep on moving forward, pushing through, persevering, the pain will eventually disappear. But the truth is, it doesn't. I mean, yes, your pain may fade, but the emotions you felt, that fear, the hurt, the anger, the sadness, the longing, they remain. They linger beneath the surface. They dictate the decisions you make. They influence your relationships and running, or maybe even ruining your life. And no matter how much you try to forget, how much you try to outrun, to distract yourself with new achievements, with new experiences, these past emotions, they remain. They live beneath the surface of your awareness, deeply imprinted into your subconscious mind. That neglect, the lack of support, emotional unavailability, criticism that you might have received from your parents, from your teachers, maybe from kids or your colleagues or your bosses, none of that disappears. None of that goes away. It sinks deeper and deeper into your subconscious, and that shapes your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, your behaviors in so many ways that you don't even realize. And no matter how much you accomplish, no matter how much money you make, how many relationships you may go through, something inside of you always feels like off. And maybe it's like a sudden that wave of sadness when there is actually no reason to be sad. Maybe it's a rejection, even though logically you understand that you're good either way. Or maybe it's looking for that constant attention just to feel accepted, just to feel worthy. Or perhaps it's the need to control a situation, to feel safe, to feel like you are in control of your life. So these emotions are not random. They come from your inner child. That part of you, and we all have it, the part of us that still believes that somehow we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we're not lovable, we're not valuable, we're just not enough. And until you acknowledge, until you heal that part of yourself, these emotions will continue to run and maybe even ruin your life. And typically, they will show up as self sabotage. So, pushing away things that you desire the most, chasing love, maybe settling for relationships where you feel unseen and appreciated, and people can't really meet you at where you are. Maybe it's anxiety, feeling insecure the moment somebody disagrees with you or questions you, or self doubt, where you're questioning yourself. Even deep inside, you probably know that you are capable of much more. And often we go through life ignoring those fears, ignoring these insecurities, hoping that they will disappear with the next relationship, with the next job, with the next change, with the next something, but they don't. And the same patterns keep repeating, the same unfulfilling relationships, the same dissatisfactions in your career, in your job, the same insecurities and doubts keep on creeping back in over and over and over. So, why is that? Well, the real issue isn't in external. The real issue lies in the unprocessed emotions that your child, your inner child rather, is still holding on to. And these emotions, as I've already said, they don't just go away with time. They are stored in your body and they imprinted into your nervous system. And they are the root cause of the overthinking that keeps you stuck in indecision. They are the root cause of the imposter syndrome that keeps whispering, you're not smart enough, you're not capable enough, you're not good enough, you're just not enough. And the thing about them, they tricked you into believing that your happiness, that your success, your fulfillment, your joy in life depends on others meeting your expectations, circumstances aligning perfectly, and everything falling into place. But this is all a lie. It's all a trick of your unprocessed emotions, because no job, no person, no perfect set of circumstances can truly give you what you really want, what you crave: happiness, purpose, peace. Because the truth is, sooner or later, expectations will be broken. And we already know that life is always unpredictable. And this is the biggie: if you place your happiness in someone else's hands, you will end up heartbroken or disappointed over and over again. Growing up in Russia, in a communist Russia, I was taught that emotions were weakness. Crying wasn't acceptable, complaining was completely out of the question, and love meant self sacrifice. And so I got really good at putting everyone else's needs before my own, mistaking self abandonment and self sacrifice for love. I believed that to be loved, I needed to do something, like love had to be earned. I thought that if I gave enough, if I did enough, if I proved myself over and over, I would finally be loved, appreciated, included, whatever that is. But now I know that's not how it works. And my emotional unavailability, that fear of expressing my emotions, of being open and vulnerable, led me to attract relationships where people were either emotionally unavailable, like me, or even if they were available, I would find ways to self sabotage because it wasn't familiar and because I couldn't meet them at the depth of their emotional connections. So after repeating the same things over and over, I really had to sit with my emotions. I had to face my fears and I had to tell my inner child, you are allowed to be all of it, not just the happy, fun, easygoing part of me that I love, but also the sadness, the fear, the insecurity, and all of the messiness. Because I'm not just one or the other, I am all of it. And so are you. You know, that time you were told to stop crying, the time that maybe your feelings were dismissed, maybe at the time that you needed affection, but instead you got silence. All of that has shaped you. It puts you into survival mode, making you adapt to others, to your life circumstances, rather than just in order to feel safe. And now maybe you are the person who apologizes too often without actually even needing to do so. Maybe you are afraid to say no. Maybe you feel shame after expressing your emotions and stating your needs. But here's the thing, that is not you. That is your inner child who's still craving that love, acceptance, who's still trying at all costs to avoid that rejection, who's terrified of being left abandoned or alone. And this inner child needs you to fully accept her or him, to stop fighting, to stop blaming, to shaming her, because she just needs you to let her be her exactly as she is. And the path to healing that inner child lies in your emotional safety, cultivating that emotional independence by accepting every part of yourself, even the one or the ones, if they're multiple, you spent years running away from. Because when you really cultivated emotional independence, your life changed. Your life will change. You start trusting yourself instead of seeking validation and approval from others. You begin to own your emotions instead of being ruled by them. And you start reclaiming your power instead of giving it away to the circumstances that you can't even control. So that's why I've created a course called Emotional Intelligence: Overcoming Anxiety, Fear, and Doubt, that is now available on Udemy. In this course, I take you on a dive into a powerful connection between your emotions, your thoughts, your energy, to help you integrate all parts of you so that you can start showing up as unapologetically as yourself, trusting your decisions, owning your needs, and expressing your emotions without fear and without shame. Drawing from my own personal healing journey and years of studying emotional intelligence, human behavior, neurolinguistic programming, and metaphysics, I share in this course exact strategies that help me to go from constant overthinking, deep seated insecurities and self doubt, struggling in relationships and friendships to really form these deep connections, and also not actually knowing who I was and what my purpose is, to a completely different person to someone who has trust in my decisions now, where I accept all of me, the messiness, the doubt, the fears, as well as the fun parts. And I have a strong sense of purpose. While also in the last few years, I managed to create the most fulfilling, deep connections and friendships with people who are now part of my life. So this course isn't just about managing your emotions. It's about literally rewiring the way you think, the way you feel, the way you show up, and the way you respond to life. Because only when you take charge of your emotions, only then you can start taking charge of your life. You see, healing, really true healing, begins when you stop running away and start listening. When you stop shaming yourself for feeling too much or for wanting something so deeply. When you stop calling yourself weak, when you stop holding yourself feeling guilty for reacting, for being emotionally triggered, because those reactions are not random, they're not weaknesses, there are signals. They're signals from your younger self who never felt safe enough to express your needs. And when you learn to listen, when you lean into your emotions instead of running away from them or suppressing them, you don't just transform your life, you also transform lives of people closest to you. So if you're tired of being controlled by your emotions, if you really express your needs with confidence and break free from these repetitive patterns in your life, then this course is for you. So underneath this video, I've included the link, and currently it is on a special price. I can't remember what it is. I know it's a lot cheaper than normally, until 7th of April, I believe. So if you want more information, just click on the link below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.